Do you have an automatic watering system for your rabbits, or you're thinking about putting one in and you're a little concerned about the algae growth in it and how do you prevent that? That's what we're going to discuss in today's video, so stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to another slightly rednecked video. Again, my name is Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or heck, even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. I've gotten a lot of questions from people asking, how do I keep algae growth down in my automatic watering system for my rabbits? There's a couple of things that you can do to keep it down in your system. The first and primary thing is to keep it in the shade. Your watering system, in fact your whole rabbit shed, should never be in direct sunlight. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is to keep the algae growth down, but more importantly is to keep it cool. Your rabbits don't want hot water. If you've got that watering system with direct sunlight shining on it, it's going to get hot and it's not good for your rabbits. It needs to be cool water. Keep it in the shade. Secondly, like I said, it'll keep algae growth down. Algae grows because sunlight hits it. So if you keep it shaded, if you keep it in the dark, you're not going to have problems with algae growing in it, or not as many problems with algae growing in it anyway. Another thing that you can do to kind of keep algae growth down is to add apple cider vinegar to your watering system. And that's apple cider vinegar with the mother, not apple cider flavored vinegar. There is a difference between those. If you need help with that, I'll put a link down below where you can purchase that online if you're not able to find that locally. As a disclaimer, I always say it will be an affiliate link. Sorry, my dog is running around like crazy. It will be an affiliate link. So if you do buy from that link, I will probably earn a small commission. It won't be much, but if you don't want me doing that, order it, look it up yourself and order it online somewhere else, wherever. All right, so the next thing I'm going to say about algae growing in your watering system is you're not going to be able to completely prevent it. If you have a watering system, there's going to be some algae growing in it, but it's really not that big of a deal. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. I don't do anything other than keep my rabbit watering system in the shade, and that's more to keep it cool than anything. And I don't have very much algae growth in there at all. But algae is not going to hurt your rabbits. If there's a little bit of algae in your watering system, it's not going to hurt your rabbits. Here in this part of the country, it gets cold in the wintertime. So in about November or so, we start getting freezing temperatures and this system will freeze up, and I take it down and switch over to Crocs. And at that point, you can wash the hoses out if you want to. It's kind of a pain. Honestly, if you don't have any more rabbits than what I have, this hose is so cheap that if you're really worried about it, it's probably easier just to replace the hose than it is to try to clean it out. But you can clean it out with bleach water or whatever. Just make sure that if you use bleach on it, you rinse it out very, very, very well before you hook it back up and start watering your rabbits with it. Let me take you in close here. Let me show you my water system, because it's been better part of a year at least with hooked up like this, and I have very little, if any, algae growth in it. Let me bring you up and show you the hoses real quick, because there are a few spots that have some algae. All right, hopefully the camera is showing this well. This is my rabbit watering system, and you can see there's a few spots right there that have a little bit of algae growth in it, just a little bit of green to it. But for the most part, this hose is pretty clean. There's not much, if any, algae in it. And if I pull you over here, the same thing. I mean, you have to look really hard to see the algae growing on the hose itself. It's there, but it's not very much. And this whole thing is shaded. It never gets direct sunlight on it. And I'll show you my bucket setup over here. All right, this is where my bucket is set up right here, and it's just hanging on the back side of my shed. Never has sunlight hitting this directly. It's always in the shade all day, every single day. I had to tie it up with a rope because the handle broke off of it and it fell. But usually at the end of the year, when I pull this bucket out of here and dump it out whenever the freezing temperatures come, there's a little bit of algae growing around the inside of the bucket, but very minimal, not much at all. Okay, so you can see keeping it in the shade does a pretty good job of keeping your algae to a minimum. A couple things I will caution you about. I have heard people suggest to paint your hose black or get black hose so the sunlight can't penetrate it and grow algae in there. I would caution you against doing that for a couple of reasons. One is if you are in the sun at all, that black is going to draw that heat in and really heat up your water. Not good. If you've ever laid a garden hose out in the sun, they're usually dark colored, and then you turn the water on and put your hand over that, it comes out almost scalding hot on the other end. Not a good option in my opinion. The second thing is that if you paint it black, you won't be able to see through the hose. So you won't be able to see if there's something gets in the water system and obstructs it. You won't know where that is. Multiple things could go wrong with that. best off just use the clear hose. If it gets too much algae in it, have some extra hose on hand, replace it if you need to, take it out, flush it out real good with some bleach water. That'll help get the algae out of that. That's my opinion on that. I don't think it's a good option to paint it. Now what you could do, if you're really concerned about it, is run it inside PVC pipe, or you could even run it just cardboard and lay it over the hose like so, all the way along it. It'd be a lot of cardboard, but you could do that, and that would provide it with some shade as well and keep it in the dark so the algae wouldn't grow. But again, the bottom line is just don't worry about it too much. A little bit of algae in there is not going to hurt your rabbits at all. If you start getting black mold or some of those kinds of things, that can be bad. But just regular green algae that grows in all kinds of water systems everywhere, it's not going to hurt them. If it gets overly concentrated where you can't even see through the hose and there's just algae everywhere, then yeah, you might want to take it out and clean it out or replace it. But other than that, a little bit, not going to hurt your rabbits at all. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are new to my content, make sure to hit that subscribe button down there to stay updated with it. Let me know in the comments section what you do to control algae in your watering system. And as always, guys, God bless.